I'm Russell Frome. I am the owner of Herman Story. Started in '01, and we are currently in cellar 2, we call this. So we have 3 different cellars. This is where we age our wines. We have 2 main cellars. One has one vintage, another one has another vintage, and then as we bottle out of one, that becomes available for the next vintage. So we just keep flip-flopping. Our number 1 goal is to make the best wine we can. That just breeds the ability to not stay in the box, not to have the traditional label, to do what we want, and to be in front of the trends. We have a guy, Philip Muzzy here, and Cameron Stoffel, and the more off the wall, as we have been working together, it's essential for the branding, and it separates us. And we're trying to figure out what's out there for us. We want to continue to be in front of the trends. It's all about flavor and not burning the beans and getting the best ingredients you can. And that's a lot of my wine philosophy. And that's been created from tasting. I worked at a big custom crush when I graduated college. We did some 20 to 25 small producers, and then we had 5 or 6 really big clients. So I got to see it all. And I also got to see different winemaking styles, when people picked, when people, I think, picked too early, when people, I think, picked too late. And I just learned, I taste and taste and taste. And I still have a very large wine collection, my personal wine collection from Europe, Spain, Chateauneuf, Bordeaux, Australia, all over, because I love to taste different wines and taste. That's it. Number 1, taste, 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 taste. And then in '09, I moved my whole operation up to Paso. And 5 years ago, I got this building. And the wines that we make are full throttle, pedal to the metal, just at the precipice of going over the top. I think a lot of people would describe them that way. But I think that we're well away from the edge of pushing over the top. We make the wines with sophistication, with cleanliness, make sure everything is tip-top, clean, topped, tidy, and we take it very, very serious. That's the serious part. All our serious energy and all our, maybe what you'd call pretentiousness, or all of our focus is on the wine, and that allows us to play and have a good time the rest of the time. But when it's wine time and when it's time to focus on the wine quality, everybody's on board. I'd put any of my wines against food. I think they pair well. They are full-bodied and they're big and opulent, and maybe they do have a little bit of higher alcohol, but I try to keep that in balance. And at the end of the day, it's not what the chemistry is. It's nothing but whether it tastes good or it doesn't taste good. I specialize in Rhone varieties. Ever since 2001, I've made Syrah, Grenache, Mourvedre, Viognier. And since I've been in Paso, and since I have a following, and I wanted to make other wines. The fun part is of the wine business, at least the fun part for me since I started, is building the business, grabbing new vineyards, making a little bit more wine. And now the thrill for me is not to grow any bigger, but to really hone in on the farming, really hone in on getting only the best grapes we can. Most people come into this business with money they've made in some other business, and they really have a blank checkbook. The way that I do it allows for you to enter in without a whole lot of cash, because you didn't have to plant a vineyard, you don't own the land, you didn't have to come up with that money. And it also allows you, with the vineyard managers that I work with now, being really, really high-end vineyard managers, I can go, and most of the time I don't need to say anything anymore. They know we're all on the same page of what I'm looking for. It's ultra fine, 1 cluster per shoot, leaves pulled, thoughtfulness in the farming. And I start to work with guys that are better and better now. Every single pick we do, I taste first. A lot of people make wine on chemistry. I don't. I taste. I taste the barrels, I taste the grapes, I taste everything. If a vineyard doesn't work for me and I'm not on a long contract, I can just move on and just leave it behind. Now, the fact that I don't own the properties and the fact that I can just walk away anytime and move on to another vineyard, those are luxuries I have, but I'm paying premium dollar for the grapes I get now. And it's exciting for me to work with the best ingredients, like a chef. I want the best of the best. The approach of kind of being off the cuff and doing things a little different and being more risque, that's evolved from not taking ourselves too seriously and in really realizing how great an opportunity we all have to be in this business and to have a job in this business. And I often say I'm 40 years old and I retired, I got a job at a winery. I love doing this, and I think there's way too much pretentiousness in the wine business. There's too much highbrow, nose in the air, and I think a lot of that is based on the intimidation of the wine business, you know. And so we are very easygoing. We like to tell people, hey, you know, number one, does it taste good? I use a quote around here: live by the score, die by the score, live better with a good score. Well, the wine inspector gave us for our 2011 Grenache on the road. We got number 52 in the world for their list of top 100 wines of the world. And it was a great accolade. 96s, we got a bunch of 95s from both the Wine Spectator and the Wine Advocate. It really does help, and it's a real nice pat on the back. My crew and I, when we get a good score, it's about 20 minutes of yes, yes, maybe all day. We're like, yeah. If we get a bad score, it's weeks of sorrow and head hanging. Like, oh. So we try not to focus too much on it because we don't want to make it a distraction, but it's really nice when we get good scores, and it's really nice for the life of the business as far as the financial lift it can give you. We, unfortunately, were sold out of the 11 when we got the score. We were actually on to the 13. We had sold out of the 12 already, but it was a good pat on the back. It gave our brand a lot of clout. We do mostly Rhone varieties, and then when we got into Cab and some Tempranillo-based wines about 3 years ago, and we're making more of those. We want to do 100% Cab from Shell Mountain and York Mountain, the vineyard we lease. We do have a wine that is currently on, it's Grenache, it's currently on the stems and the skins, and it's still there. We still have grapes, and we've made it a tradition that the last grapes we press are from the vintage prior. So in 2015, at the end of the vintage, we pressed 2014 grapes after we were all done. And I know it sounds crazy, and I don't want to divulge all my secrets, and the wine won't be released for another year or two. Some of my winemaking colleagues will say, why do you tell everybody what you're doing? And I say, well, my grandma can tell you how to make her oatmeal cookies, but you can't make them like she can. I think the energy of my people that work here and the energy and the camaraderie we have, we're a tight team, and we have a good time, but at the same time, like I was saying, we focus on the wine quality. It's that energy and how that energy 24 hours a day is a good, positive feeling. It can only help with the wine quality. I often say, well, does it really make a difference, or does it put you in a different class, and that class being that you care more? We actually have quite a large direct customer list. So about 60-70% of all our wine goes direct to consumer via a wine club and a mailing list. And a few years ago when we got this place, or 5 years ago when we got this place, we really wanted to do a release party, wine club, pickup party, we called it. And we started with about 100 people, 200. And now last party we had 620 people here. But it's for the wine club, we have it's twice a year, so we have these parties twice a year. We have a big barbecue, we have a band, we have a massage, a masseuse, we have an ice cream truck, We had Zoo to You, local animal rescue, bring a porcupine. Bald eagle sat right here during the party. We had an owl, we had a kangaroo, we had an alligator. So it's a carnival.